Hello, folks, and welcome to game number 1 of Falcon Esports versus Team Sword. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster, Sharogan, and I have joining with me today the one, the only, Fang over Fang.
That is me. I'm best known for being the one, the only. Yeah.
And it's going pretty good. It's like finally getting on the casting desk. It's been a hot minute since the break last week. I'm really excited for this game. Super stoked. The game yesterday between Falcon and INT, that was an intense series.
Definitely was. INT, I think, won that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to be like, say the wrong thing off the bat, but INT, who won the won last year, of course, and FEC, who's a new kid on the block, down to the losers bracket. So I want to see how they bounce back from their first playoff loss.
Yeah, no, it's like there's a reason they're playing again today. However, it was against INT, which is not a team to be slouching at. I agree with you though. It's like really exciting to see. We did see UB almost kind of stumble a little bit last set, where they Team Spear seemed like they were going to be coming back pretty dang hard in that second game. They were actually be able to pull it out, but there was that one fight around Dragon Pit. Didn't really work out too well in favor of them. But let's hop into this game right here and take a look at these bans we've got going on. We've got some junglers and some top laners getting knocked off the running right off the bat, and we got a Lulu being stolen away from FEC.
This is a really weird adaptation. Wow. Big words. They picked Kog'Maw on FEC, and the Lulu Kog'Maw is obviously one of the best. I think it's the best spot lane in the game at the moment, and for some reason they first picked Kog'Maw. So very smart by Sword to take away the Lulu, to get away the best spot lane really in the game at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to take away like whatever advantages you possibly can. Hecarim did get a buff this patch, so he's kind of not exactly back to his old numbers, but they did revert a lot of his numbers, or a lot of his damage on his Q. So he might be a lot stronger at this point than he was yesterday.
Oh, Karma. That's a great pick. I like the Karma. I like this. I actually like the comp from FEC at the moment. Karma can, of course, speed up Hecarim and can peel for Kog'Maw, similar to what Lulu can. Hecarim's still doing Hecarim things, and he's just auto-clearing jungle, which is really what the main issue was with Hecarim when he was so disgusting, was that he just cleared jungle instantly and then could just roam and do a bunch of things and gank multiple lanes at once, basically, because he's just fucking going... Oh, I just got canceled. My bad. Speaking of canceling, I want to shout out my boy Kyle, HR, who is going to be finding me. Kyle and Gabe, they need to run me my 30,000. I'm starting Revolution. I bet on UB, but they messed up the coloring. They're trying to blame it on anybody else, refusing to take blame, as Ezreal was locked in, and I'm going on this long rant at game 1. But yes, if you see FOF Kyle or FOF Vex, please let them know that
You want your money back.
I want my money. Run me my money.
Right. Well, regardless of that, so we're looking at this right here. I do agree with you. I like FEC's comp. I think they've got a really solid pick setup right there with the Karma replacing a Lulu in the bot lane. I think is a pretty... You've got the shields, you've got the speed ups, the roots, so you've got a lot of the same sort of CC that Lulu would be providing. Well, looking over at Team Sword's comp, Personally, I'm not a big fan of the Ezreal pick, even though I know he's a really strong poke, which is definitely something you need against a Kog'Maw whatever support bot lane. I feel like that we've only seen a few ADCs able to really capitalize on Ezreal's ability in his kit, just because it's a little bit more tricky than some of the other ADCs that are out there that are definitely an option. I think maybe a Caitlyn would have been a better choice in this instance. But with the Victor and the Kassadin coming out, there is a lot of late game scale on the side of Falcon. That team is going to be a monster as it gets closer to this game progresses.
It's almost an anti-synergy when it came to Team Sword, to reiterate your point. Ezreal is one of the best AD carries in the game right now. Lulu is probably the best support in the game, but they're not really a good bot lane duo in general together. And like you said, there's a lot of late game scaling on FEC. Kassadin, of course, the mid laner. Kog'Maw, one of the best AD carry that scales very, very late. And they picked the Lee Sin here, which is probably going to go top here. Top league.
It is definitely going to go top.
It's a bit weird that you're last picking Lee Sin. Lee Sin's like one of those main reasons why you pick Lee Sin now is his flexibility. He can go in the jungle, he can go in the mid, he can go on the top, and you're last picking it, which is a bit interesting. We pick Jax here. Okay, that's a lot of late game. There's a lot of late game in this game, so I'm expecting a 40-minute game.
Yeah, this is definitely like a game that's not going to be decided in the first 10 minutes. It's going to be decided at the 25-minute mark and whoever got ahead first. Looking at this though, I like the Jax counter pick to the Lee Sin because you definitely know that that's going to be going top lane at this point because Lee Sin being all auto attack based for the most part, that counter strike is going to be really useful for Jax. However, because that is kind of the one thing you've got to play around in the top lane, I really expect Paytime to basically just bait it out and kind of dive in, dive out, and really put a lot of pressure on King Gator. But we're gonna have to basically. I'm really excited. I'm leaning FEC for game one.
I'm gonna take FEC. They have the LP bandit known as Kassadin, the merchant, if you will. So I'm gonna go with FEC as well.
Yep. All right, and with that, let's go ahead and hop onto the rift and get it on.
We failed to mention this during draft as well. Kassadin is really good into triple AP damage. On the other side, they have Diana, Victor, and Ezreal does some AP. Lulu does some AP. Jax, of course, is a mix as well. So there's a lot of AP on the side of Sword. So Kassadin, of course, is really good into that kind of stuff. As they're going to invade on the red side right here, they're just going to grab wards. I
have a feeling they're going to look for something spicy here.
All right. Thank goodness they didn't fight.
Just
Their level 1.
I feel like if they had been able to catch out Jovi or Cam, then that would have been a dead member of Team Sword over there.
I like the play though. I like the early aggression. You get to see so much when it comes to these early wards and this kind of stuff. And how you track your jungler, of course, like you're going to see a lot when it comes to our pathing, and you back, you get your ward, you back, and then you go and get your red trinket, which is huge for junglers. Junglers do not do this enough. I complain about this every single cast, and I think both junglers did it. So I'm proud of them as we're dancing. Look at these dance moves. Hit it.
Yep. Okay. Just dancing in the mid lane. Although I kind of expect bot lane to be really, really noisy with those Ezreal yells.
Of course, as I think Jeff, who played, he's on UB, the AD carry, wanted us to increase champions sounds so we can hear the Ezreal screaming top of his lungs. And this skin, of course, talks the most out of like most Ezreal.
Yep. Well, it's schoolboy Ezreal. Of course he talks the most. Got to be that popular kid.
That's that My Hero Academia Deku skin. This is one of my favorite skins in the game, by the way. He has like the best emote in the game. I wonder if Fix Your Fart, who's leading candidate for the best name in the entire tournament, by the way. I wonder if he does the emote.
It is definitely one of the more interesting names. I do like. So here's the thing I love about Karma is I love the ability to just harass the enemy laners from such a distance. That empowered Q just deals so much damage, and the fact that it provides a slow and an explosion as a secondary source of damage if they don't get out, it's just so nice. It's one of the more useful things you can do as an AP support.
Karma is weird because she's an enchanter that's also a lane bully. Like you said, the Q slow is extremely honestly, it's actually a lot longer than people expect it to be. Of course, she does so much damage. And of course, she can shield and heal. She's kind of an over-tuned champion, as I'm slurring on all my words.
No. So in this top lane matchup, one thing that I think is going to be really interesting for Paytime versus King Gator is King Gator's going to have to worry about his mana costs. Paytime literally just has to worry about his rotations and his ability uses to make sure that he's getting those cooldowns timed right. So in theory, he should actually be able to out-sustain Gator, forcing him to use that TP earlier, which means that it's probably going to be a easier roaming ability available for Paytime as this progresses. Look at all those dodges from that Counter-Strike.
There's going to be a lot of aggression early for King Gator, like you said, and the Lee Sin, because Lee Sin wants to kill early. I really want to see if Jovi can kill the Kassadin early. It's really important. You got to keep Kassadin down low. It's going to be hard because he's Victor, and Victor is also a very scaling champion. He's not really good early that much.
Yeah, like Kassadin, he needs some time to come online, get his empowered items, really be able to put it out. Though if we're looking at what we're seeing right in front of us with those health bars, Kassadin has already lost a nice chunk of health, and so he's already kind of being forced out a little bit. I like this. I like this setup that we've got here in the bottom for Team Sword, although I don't like the fact that we're backing off so soon, and Cam is just deciding to leave.
If you're gonna do that, you should probably commit to it. Like it's kind of bad because you went down there and you actually take a little bit of XP when you do that kind of thing. I mean, it's not a huge deal. I don't think it's probably not gonna come back to bite him. But if he stays longer, then it could.
Exactly. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you're gonna spend the time doing it, your own time is worth money and gold. So
I like the play, and I
in
understand the reason he did it. But if you're going to do that, you should be going into the third bush and back and do that. Doing it to hover your lane, of course, to counter gank the Hecarim gank. So smart play, but it's really not a big difference. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and counteracting that Hecarim gank is something I think that King Gator's got to be careful of. He has been very pushed underneath Paytime's tower for most of that this laning phase. He got lucky in the sense of Hecarim is just going for that full clear, going to the bot side, getting ready to do this Drake, working on his Krugs right now. There is plenty of opportunities though for him to have ganked top lane with how heavy he was pushed, and in essence, Gator didn't have any vision up, so that makes me wonder if he just got lucky or if they were really tracking the pathing of Wild West Wild.
I actually want to shout out my boy Paytime up in his top lane, who's actually ahead in CS from being perma push, like you said. It's actually like pretty insane that he's above in CS. He pushes out lane right now. He gets a deep ward on the red side, which is actually really smart of him. I think he should be backing here. No. Okay, he's gonna go back for.
He doesn't really have to. He's full health. He's got energy. He's got his dagger, so he's pretty much in a good spot, I think. Only up against. Go.
Doing that was that no problem. Is that I don't think he fully pushed into the wave, or maybe the wave bounced. I'm not entirely sure. The wave's bouncing now, so I guess he doesn't lose much.
He isn't losing too much. We do have this fight going on down here, right at the Dragon Pit. It's not a large skirmish right now, and I have a feeling this is going to be a bit of a slow game.
Nice.
Look at that! Look at that fight. That was a good engage. Gator gets pushed under tower though. But Paytime going in on this, getting as much damage. He is going to take up first blood as he manages to pick up that kill in this massively fat minion wave.
Lee Sin, and one of the reasons why he's so strong in lane is because that R flash combo, like you just see, where you R first and then you flash afterwards, and it kicks you backwards. He does that a lot. You're going to R flash into the tower, get a tower shot, and for most of the time when you do that, you're going to win a 1v1 when you get that tower shot. Very smart by him. Jack should have known that was going to happen. I like the disrespect with the laugh emote as well.
Got some craziness going on, and we already see Jax once again fighting under tower. I like Gator's aggression. Gator's aggression is going to keep him. Is basically he's like, you know what? Fine. If you want to fight under your tower, we're just going to keep fighting.
If he's gonna be permanent push like this, I want to see Diana invade on the blue quadrant for Hecarim. He's having all this lane prio top lane, but he has not capitalized on it at the moment. So hopefully that will change. We see FEC, of course, take the dragon, which is infernal. So, Mr. Sherigan, the king of casters, we're going to see a gank here in the top lane. I don't think they kill him, though. Yep,
that is a great gank coming in. We have Hecarim Wild as well coming in through there. A lot of damage coming out. We do see that Gator is able to pick up a kill on Wild as well, as he's just able to out-damage the Hecarim where he's at right now. And that is going to be a lockdown and a double kill as what we see King Gator take down Camel Basil.
The gank wasn't really smart, to be honest. I mean, I get they're trying to gank so that they can push out the lane so that Lee doesn't miss much, but you're not going to kill them. Lee is not backed yet. Hecarim at that point is not going to be able to kill Jax, who is ahead in level for some reason, which really shouldn't be a thing. Yeah, I just don't really understand the point. You know, Cassin's way weaker than Victor is in this point in the match. You don't really win that, even if it goes perfect. Quick TP by Victor though, just saves top laner. Good counterplay by Sword.
That was a really good TP by Victor to drop down that stun, which is what locked down the Camel Basil and kept him from actually being able to get engaged. And then he was just Bob's your uncle, popped away. With that, that's going to put a lot of momentum back on the side of King Gator. He is going to have those 2 kills. That's going to give him a lot of gold. As this wave crashes in, Paytime is going to be kind of stuck holding the bag, as he really doesn't have a lot of objectives he can help out on. We have Rift Herald that already went down. Dragon's not going to be up for another couple of minutes. And so at this point, it's really all he can do is farm. So he's just kind of like forced to back and do like one of those, yeah, I'm here. Just give me something while I walk back to lane.
One of the worst parts about Cassin dying so early is, of course, that level power spike. He really wants to get to level 16, those level 11, and that's really when he becomes a champion. Level 11, really. Of course, you want to reach level 16, and then you become the freeload merchant. But him dying makes him lose a bunch of XP. Right now, he's probably, I don't know, down maybe I think a minion wave and a half on Victor. I'm not entirely sure, but that's really why, if you're going to make these plays with Cassin early, they have to work for her.
Exactly. He really, like, his roams are so important to make sure that they're effective because of how level starved he is. He's very much gated, just in the same way that Kale is. You're so dependent on your levels that you got to make sure you're getting them. I feel like Paytime, unfortunately, has just been shoved under tower for so much of this game that he really has needed Hecarim to come and kind of provide some support. We see Jax now taking advantage of the fact that he's got that wave pushed in. He's able to go put a deep ward down. That's going to basically make it to where any gank that Hecarim tries to do after blue buff is going to be useless.
They just come down for a gank right here. This is going to be a 4-man gank in the bot.
This is a nice 4-man game. That is a nice dodge. Good flash by Haps in order to avoid getting sucked in by Cam. 4 in the bot lane, though. You do have to wonder like what exactly Caston's going to do to pressure this. He should push out this wave. While you do have Victor and Diana both working their way back up to the mid lane. We haven't seen the Rift Herald dropped yet. I have a feeling they would have dropped it bot had that gank worked out. So it's probably going to be take down Camel Basil right here, as we can see, getting a nice bit of damage on. We do have to dash in. Camel is not quite able to get onto Camel Basil, but that's going to be a good escape for FEC.
That's actually really huge for FEC. Caston's back into the game now. It's going to be gank right here.
Yep, we have Wild was Wild just kind of hiding out in that bush, and we see the ward drop, and he's like, hi, how's it going? But that's just going to be Lulu quickly walking away. Lulu's disengage is absolutely disgusting. Just straight up. It is probably one of the most frustrating things you can deal with in this game.
Lulu Ezreal is like, I think it's a really horrible bot lane, but it's like got to be what, the most unkillable bot lane. If you die at all during laning phase with Lulu Ezreal, I think that you're playing really bad. So, like you said, Lulu has one of the best disengage because of her polymorph, and Ezreal has like a double flash with his E. So.
Yeah, it's like I agree with you that it's a bad bot lane in the sense of their synergy doesn't exactly work out too well. However, like you said, they just have so much solitary utility that it makes it a really good. We're just gonna farm up and scale till late game. This is gonna be an easy Drake pickup for Team Sword, as they're just gonna kind of just sweep this right here. There's not a lot that FEC can do because of their positioning.
What's interesting about draft was they took away the Lulu, which is probably the best support in the game at the moment. I know I've said that a couple times, but I don't know what her win rate is. Very, very high. I think she has the highest win rate when it comes to supports. But Lulu needs someone that she can buff. Usually an AD carry, like a Jinx. I would have preferred like a Jinx pick, like a Caitlyn pick. It's even better than Ezreal. She doesn't really get to buff anyone. Like her ulti will be good for, you know, Jax or Diana, but she doesn't get to really use her W or her E really to shield people, where it's really going to infect a lot. There's going to be a Rift Herald here, and they're going to get what?
Let's see. Rift Herald's probably... Yeah, Rift Herald's going to dive in out of this. That's not going to be turret, though. We are going to have a nice gank as Wildest Wild's coming in on the back line. Does run just straight in. He gets a pushback, trying to push Diana under tower. Diana decides to dive under tower herself, but she's already got so much healing back, so it's going to be a kill as they take down Haps, and Haps just gets bursted out.
Lulu played that really, really good. She polymorphed before Hecarim could get the charge off, and that mitigated a lot of his damage. And during that portion, you can just murder Hecarim, because Hecarim is actually not that tanky early. Get a bunch of damage off on him. Very smart by Hecarim. I mean, very smart by Lulu.
Yeah, very smart by Lulu in order to basically shut down that Hecarim, because that's the thing. Hecarim is going to basically, as soon as you see him, that's when you need to get, like, before he ever gets to the fight is when you need to basically shut him down. And Lulu is perfect for that, like you said, with the polymorph and all that. And then you also have a lot of options. Once Jack starts joining this fight, you're going to have the Counter-Strike available to stun and other such things. Talking real quickly on choice of ADC. So basically, Elios and Draven were both given buffs this patch. Draven was actually given some extra early game AD because the items aren't helping him out as much. So we've seen how nasty he can be in the hands of someone like Yubi and just how disgusting he can be there. So like that's something that we need to watch out for. I feel like either of those would have been perfect for the comp that Sword has drafted.
Aphelios is easily one of the most best champions when it comes to 5v5. So of course, FOF is a 5v5 tournament. I'm unfamiliar if Fix Your Fart, who is the best name again in the entire tournament, plays Aphelios, but if you can play nice Aphelios Lulu, it's like you said, it's a very disgusting combo. There's going to be a counter gank right
Look
here.
at this. We have Wild as Wild. He is waiting in order to... I'm not entirely sure what exactly he was waiting for. It's like he didn't see Cam and just decided to go in very, very late. That is going to be a drop-down Diana ult. It's going to hit both of them. That is going to be a Diana bursted down. She's not able to escape. There's too much CC on the side of FEC as they were able to push her back into their team. That should be an easy Rift Herald pickup if they want to go for it.
That was actually really smart by Wild West. He waited out a lot of the cooldowns when it came to King Gator. I think that he was using his E. He got rid of that, pushed him back into the team. There's a bunch of damage. They piled some damage on Diana, killed him because Diana isn't that tanky in general. She had a weak ulti off. Very smart by them. Perfect counter gank. Counter ganking is what makes good junglers, people.
It really is. You've got to be able to get inside the mind of your opponent. You got to be able to make sure that you shut them down because we had it yesterday where there was a Diffie in the Jiffy, where it was just to steal Whirler's phrase because I absolutely love that phrase now. And I don't think Wild West has actually like shown a big difference right now. I don't think he's as terribly far ahead of this Diana. In fact, Diana's doing way more on the map than he is. But that was a good play by Wild West Wild right there.
Fixie Fire is doing a lot of poke at the moment, so I'm going to see what happens. They might be able to push out this bot lane. I want to see them potentially push.
Look at that diving in. We got a lot going on in this map. That is going to be mid-turret dropped as the Rift Herald goes down. Are we going to see a fight? We are not.
Nope. Your lungs are just waiting for this fight, man. I can feel it.
Oh my gosh. I knew that this was going to be one of those games that it's going to have like no kills. They're playing like INT right now, which to be fair is the smart play. Like that is what you should be doing. Also, I think they updated Karma's VFX for this game, for this patch.
I guess team comp wise, yeah, that's what you should be doing. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll have to see when she drops that empowered Q again. It looked a little different than it usually does.
All right, Dragon's up in 10 seconds here, and hopefully we're going to see your empowered Q so that we can shout it. I want you to shout it out mid-team fight. This is important for everyone here, as it will be coming up in 2 seconds.
Right. So, Mountain Drake is going to be the final soul. That shield that it will give will be absolutely disgusting for both of these teams who just have, especially for Kog'Maw, who just needs that survivability. We have a TP coming in as King Gator starts to get a lot of damage down. We have Camel Basil trying to get on the backside. We've got the nice counter-strike coming out as we get a stun as Paytime is not quite able to get off his counter-strike. We have red team getting the actual dragon. Huge amounts of damage coming out on the side of Team Sword. They are getting shredded, though, as FEC is able to pick them off one by one. Lots of damage. Kassadin just doing some work in the backline. Then we have poor Lulu getting chased down by Lee Sin as Team Sword manages to pick this up. Or he gets taken out.
The disrespect by my boy Paytime. I didn't see you shout out the Empowered Q, by the way. So
I didn't see it. I missed it.
I don't think she even did it, but let's see what they do. Are they going to take this? They should take the jungler here from FEC. Great team fight. That's a wipe, by the way. When you do these kind of plays, you want to push out mid, and then you want to take the junglers' camps. They did not do that. The entire red side's up, but very smart team fight in general. I'm really surprised that worked, though. Kassadin went a little early and missed a couple things, and Kog was behind, but very good by really Hecarim and Lee Sin that really smurfed that fight in general.
Yeah, I think if we were to go back and watch that, we would actually see that Lee Sin was doing a lot of damage on the backside. He did get stunned by the initial Counter-Strike, which was well dropped by King Gator, but he was able to get the squishies separated from the rest of the team. And unfortunately, with the Swords comp set up the way it is all of them are really vulnerable to getting bursted down very quickly by most of FEC.
The only really potential front line really is Jax at the moment, really for the entire game. So yeah, they are susceptible to burst. Lulu hopefully can have fast fingers when it comes to her ultis, just hopefully save that. But overall, I think they lost that fight just because they were very discombobulated. They weren't really together as a unit. I think that they got the dragon. I think that some people were saying let's dip, and others were trying to fight this. So hopefully their communication improves.
Hopefully, yeah. No, it definitely looked like it was going for Sword's favor in the beginning, but FEC was able to pull it out. I think when it comes down to these actual team fights, Kog'Maw's range is just going to outmatch Ezreal's, and he's going to basically be able to hit his abilities a little bit easier because he's not requiring skill shots. It's once he becomes an auto turret that's when he becomes a real monster.
Ezreal wants to sit back and poke, and the rest of the team Sword really doesn't want to do that. You know, Jax and Diana are going champions. Victor, man, Swords. I don't want to flame too hard like in the first game, but Swords comp is just so like. I don't know what they're trying to do, man.
Unfortunately, it feels very solo queue. Like that's the easiest way for me to describe it. It feels like there's a lot of pressure available to each of those champions in lane, but once you start getting into 5v5, there we go. Yeah, that is definitely a different queue. They have updated the VFX on that. That's looking quite crisp.
I'm proud of you that you remember that. I did not remember that even a little bit. But yeah, it's very solo queue, like you said. There's just anti-synergy. Victor and Ezreal really want to keep people at bay, and then Diana and Jax really want to go in, and Lulu wants a AD carry that she can buff, like hyper carries and these kind of things. And no one really has that.
Well, I can see what they're going for. So they want the Diana and the Jax to go in. Lulu's holding on to ult for both of them so that way she can keep them alive while they're getting onto that backline, trying to get through to the Kog'Maw, who's going to basically be running around because of the Karma shields and just be going absolutely nuts. Look at this. We got a nice dive pace time going in on there, but it's not going to be a huge fight. He's just going to get some poke, but he's going to keep on going. He is 1v3ing right now. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, here we go. The rest of FEC has decided to come up. Hecarim just kind of does a quick drive-by as he just kind of does a breeze next to King Gator, but doesn't actually do anything.
Paytime has been so freaking aggressive this game. I love it. Every single time we're looking at him, he's just going in using the Lee Sin syndrome where you hit a Q and you immediately just go for it. The disrespect, we all know who I'm crowning as my MVP for the game at the moment.
Yeah, it's like I agree with you. I'm a little like concerned with the way Wild West Wild's been playing Hecarim, where it's like he keeps going in, but it's like a Hecarim who's not putting the pedal to the metal. He's only going like, yeah, we're gonna get up to 75, going a little bit over the speed limit, but no, we're gonna pull back and slow down.
My guy doesn't want to get a speeding ticket, man.
It's like he keeps seeing a cop waiting around the next corner.
Well, aren't you? Are you from Texas? I'm forgetting where you're from.
I am from Tejas, yes.
Yeah, so they can drive 150 miles an hour on your highways, while up where I'm from, Philly, we have to drive like 45. So maybe he's from, an East Coast city, and he can't just go and just speed at 100 miles an hour.
Maybe.
That is the reason behind his.
There we go. We got Polymorph's paytime getting knocked back. He did go in onto Cam, getting a nice decent amount of damage. I think he's still continuing that chase. Getting a little bit of a karma shield. He's going to be able to cut Lulu off right there. Does manage to hit, but is not going to continue the engage. I am getting very annoyed with these fights that I want them to just explode, but they're not.
That's exactly what my ex-girlfriend said, funny enough. But there's a reason that she's my ex now, and yeah, man. All these fights in general they're close to like popping off, and then they just don't.
It's a lot. Okay, right here we got pay time. He's gonna have Jax walk straight into him. He is gonna get stunned by the counter stun polymorphs as well, which means he's not gonna be able to really do too much. He's gonna have to go golden just to stay alive. We do have a Hecarim diving in onto the backline, pushing Jax back into the team, getting a huge amount of shred as he gets bursted down. The Nightmare doing a lot of work right there. Kassadin diving in onto this. We do have, it's now a 4v5 under turret. The rest of FEC is going to back off at this point if they're smart, and they're going to go ahead and push this wave out. That was a pretty good catch.
Yeah, it was a bit, again, Sword was... I feel like some people are trying to make these plays, and some people are just saying, like, no. Jax goes in and tries to fight lead. I guess he just assumed that his team was not behind him for some reason. Hecarim with the great counter with the ulti gets a 3-man ult that forces Sword to back off. They save their lead. Very smart by FEC. I like... FEC in general, to me, looks like the team that's more committed and more willing to stick by their teammates and, you know, make the plays. Like, if a team is making a play, teammate is making a play, they follow it. Sword is more, like, scared. Maybe they're getting these playoff jitters. Yeah, maybe they're getting the playoff jitters and these kind of things, which is known, of course, in FOF. You get the playoff jitters, the scaredness. Some people are meant for the clutch time.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of one of those things where it's like we all know that these are best of threes, so it could be they're conserving their energy. They're like, man, maybe we messed up draft. Let's just drag this out as long as possible, and then we'll try and exhaust FEC. Hopefully, be able to take them in game 2 and 3, which is a legitimate strategy in all honesty.
Well, the drag out strategy is good for their team comp. You know, you have Lulu, who is a hyper carry support, really. And Jax, which is a very late game champion. Victor, of course, late game champion. The only concern is Kassadin, Castlewin, the Freelo Merchant, is also a very disgusting late game champion. Kog'Maw, of course, is a disgusting late game champion as well. So the drag out strategy is a bit risky. At the moment, they're 2 for 2 for dragons, so they have a lot of time to risk. They have a lot of time to sit on. And by the way, we are past the halfway mark for my 40-minute game prediction.
Yes, although I have a feeling this is more accurate as being the halfway mark. We're probably going to be getting a 50-minute. That was a nice cue by Lee Sin as he dives in onto King Gator, dodging the counter-strike, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's having to kick him away just to stay alive. We do see that engage is probably going to keep going. I have a feeling that while Gator's going to heal up, it's going to be pay time is just going to want to keep fighting.
This is what's going to happen over and over again. I think they're fighting down the bot lane right now, actually.
It looks like they're doing a bit of back and forth. We don't have a kill happening, though. This tower is still up, which is keeping Gator from being able to just straight up jump onto pay time.
This is the portion of the game where Lee Sin starts falling off.
Getting caught out. He does dodge the Q from Diana, but he gets pulled in by the ult. Does get hit by the smashdown. Wild West Wild is also here, though. He has an ult away just to avoid getting caught by the Victor stun. He's going to get taken down as Jovi manages to pick him up, and then that is going to be a 1-0 for Team Sword. And Baron, perhaps, as well.
Good counterplay by Sword. They punished a mistake by Hecarim, really. I guess he was trying to push away the Diana to get the Kassadin out, but Kassadin really can get out by himself. She, of course, has ulti and has flash. And what's huge about killing him on the side of Team Sword, they're going to get this Baron call.
Oh, we do have the Baron call coming out. That is a nice dive in as Paytime goes into try and get a kill. He does manage to pick one up. Beshi Wap going unstoppable at the moment. Beshi getting polymorphed and then blown up, but Paytime is still alive as he's doing a lot of work. They managed to basically wipe out the rest of FEC as we have a quadra kill going over to Camel Basil.
Well, boys, the Freelo Merchant is officially online. He's coming to take the Freelo. Everyone get out their LP passes, please. My guy has a quadra kill, so it's pretty much over, especially because he's getting close to this level 16. I think he's level 15 at the moment. As we see, Beshuap just punching out damage. Good polymorph to stop that.
Shield! Oh my god! Did you see how big that thing was?
That's what she said. As Kassadin with the quadra kill.
That Everfrost getting a lot of damage in the roots, just keeping them in place, that he's able to burst jump right on top of him. That is going to be an easy Baron call. So that was a good counterplay by FEC. They knew that they had made a mistake in the top lane and that they were probably going to try and capitalize on that and turn it into a Baron play. So they just went straight there and were able to catch them before they were able to get the Baron down. And it just ends up working out in their favor. I think now that they've got this, that's going to be pick up Baron. It's going to take them a little bit, but they don't have to worry about death timers. And they're going to go straight to Drake, which is going to put them in a really nice position on Soul Point, and they'll be able to basically just start cracking that base at this, taking it down.
All right, boys. Casson is officially online, and I'm an AD carry player, unfortunately. And if I'm Ezra right now and I see this level 16 Casson, I'm basically typing /FF. So they're going to get the Baron and they're going to get the Dragon too, which is, oof, that's rough for Sword, to be honest. That was kind of their only way to get back, as Casson is just... I hate this champion. Have I ever told you how much I hate Casson, by the way?
You have not. I've only heard of your hatred for Sen, and look at that. We have Beshiwap getting Cam. He just gets bursted down. Nothing he can really do to escape. Everfrost coming out, rooting Ezreal in place so he can't escape, and that's just going to be a 1-2 smack as Kassadin and Lee Sin take him out. Jax trying to dive in on the backline, does do a massive amount to Kog'Maw, but he's going to get taken down as well under tower. Polymorph Kassadin is not able to run away, but that silence comes out. He does have the spell shield, and look at that double kill. How clean was that?
Camel is smurfing this game as he pops the mastery. Disrespect.
I don't think that's disrespect. That is, hey, look, you let me get my champ, you let me get onto the castle win, and this is how we win the game. And that is going to be game 1 going over to Falcon Esports as they go into game number 2 of this best of 3 series.
Alright, Diana is just ulting for damage. Okay.
Ulting for the win screen.
Definitely ulting for those stats. I also have secret information that a certain team earlier was playing for stats and assists. I won't name who, but their team did begin with a Y, and their AD carrier, the AD carry player, was the person that said it to me. That's all I'm going to say.
I see. Well, with that, so I do think that these teams are both pretty evenly matched. They were definitely playing comps that were not designed to come on. They were designed to snowball and come online later in the game. If we're looking at the damage charts, it does look like it's in favor of Team Sword. But obviously, if you're not able to capitalize on a kill, there were a couple of fights where we did see Falcon get very, very low, but they were able to get out because of all the escapes that they had available. Going into game 2, I really hope that Team Sword is able to pick up on what it is that FEC is expecting to do in their draft so that they're able to counter a little bit more effectively. Like, if you're going to pick up that Lulu and try to take away the Kog'Maw Lulu, you've got to give Lulu a ADC that is able to do damage early. And like you said, I don't know if Aphelios or Draven is in Fix Your Farts toolkit, but like both of those champions are in positions to do very, very well right now.
Overall, it's really important for teams to be able to bounce back from losses in playoff series. Again, like you said, this is best of 3. It's really important to see if they don't get tilted and they bounce back, which is extremely difficult to,
It is.
You gotta get a 10-minute break. 10-minute break. You have to get back in your chair, pre-draft, and play again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, and it's one of those things where it's like you get kind of like, it's always rough whenever you're playing League of Legends. If you're to like play a game and you lose and you got to jump right into the next one, you usually want to take like a little bit of a breather, step away, stretch, clear your head. That's kind of like how I like to do things if I have a really bad game. This is not a bad game. This is just a game where it did not work out in your favor. If we're looking at the way that these fights worked out, a lot of them only came at the end. Like, there were 2 major team fights that resulted in aces, and that was what won the game. And so both of these teams are doing a very good job of minimizing damage, but it was Falcon who was able to capitalize on their plays and able to take more objectives. And that's what Sword's going to need to fix going into game number 2.
So, like you said, no one on the Sword played that bad. Really.
Not at all. Not at all. Both of them played very, very strong. I'm really excited for game 2. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.